IoT Coffee Talk.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys? Rock and roll.
Rock and roll 2022.
That's right.
Happy New Year, Mark. How's it going, bro?
Happy belated New Year, yeah. How's it going this New Year?
It's pretty crazy.
Hey, it's awesome. I'm unemployed. Woo!
It's the best.
Is it something to celebrate or
What?
is it something to celebrate or?
I don't know. I don't know if it's something to celebrate or not. It just is what it is, I guess.
It's a mindset thing.
Exactly.
Because
it's a nice moment to think about your future, your past, your present. It's a nice time.
Yeah.
It really is. And maybe that's we have the Great Resignation happening. But you know what? Before that, we had the great layoffs. And people who were employed, and I was in corp for a really long time.
Yeah.
Either being laid off or making a decision to do something on your own, or for yourself, like what I suppose is happening with this Great Resignation thing. I really don't know what that is. But everyone talks about it, like people just boning out on their jobs. But the way that you look at it, either way, it's a huge mindset shift. Because even if you make a conscious decision to do something on your own, be ready for some shock, right? Especially if you've just had a job all your life and that's what you're used to, and you have a family.
Whew.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Different ordeal,
Yeah.
You definitely have a good textbook case of living that life the last several years, Leonard, of
What?
going from corporate to doing your own thing.
Hey, David, what's up? Yeah.
And so, yeah. Well, why don't you tell us how it's been for you, Leonard, since you're a good textbook case of, I'm going to go do this new thing. I'm going to have my own business. And how did it work out? Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it a roller coaster ride?
Oh man, it was a total roller coaster ride. It definitely wasn't anything that I thought it was gonna be, or it didn't turn out the way that I thought in the beginning. It was nothing like what I thought it would be like in the beginning. But then, that's the thing. There's things that you can't control. There are things that you can't control, and. But regardless, when you're starting out on your own, trying to do your own thing, a lot of it I think is just self-discovery. You're discovering yourself, your worth, actually your real worth out in the marketplace, right? Because a lot of folks out there with titles, they feel that, oh, hey, look, I have this clout, right? But I've spoken to a lot of folks that as soon as you lose that title, guess what? You all of a sudden are faced with what is your real value, and how do people value you as an individual as well as a quote unquote resource. I mean, that sounds kind of makes you sound like you're a widget, but that's the reality. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I think a lot of folks are kind of regarded as in corporations. You're a widget, but it's scary as hell, right? Because corporate is nice and comfy, right, David?
Yeah. Really comfy. You're talking about identity, Leonard. That's what it's we tied an identity to a role as if that's what we are, right?
And the brand.
Yeah. Like you're this job at this brand, and that's your identity. And
it's very, very difficult to create your own personal brand, which is why I think they have so many people on LinkedIn running around trying to teach people how to build their personal brand, who make a living off of trying to convince folks that they know how to help people create their own personal brand.
If I had to look at David this morning, just looking at his wrist, I would say you must work at Nike, because that looks like the Nike Apple Watch, and that he is And he's totally athletic, and he's all about that, and exactly. Change the world. Every morning he jumps out of bed and says, "Just do it."
Every Wednesday when I get to talk to you guys and do this, I'm like, yes, just do it. Let's go. LFG.
There you go. That's awesome.
That's too funny.
But you're right. This Great Resignation thing, I think people are having a lot of perspective put into their lives in a giant way as they look around. They're living in isolation. They've got friends and family that are getting sick, or in some cases have died. And I think a lot of people are kind of having a lot of reflection on what's important in life in a big way. And, as being in this machine, this corporate machine, this meat grinder, is that what I want to do? Or something else? And you're right. There's no, you can say, I'm out of here. And it's not easy. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
You think of you, Leonard, and I think of other friends who have been executives at giant, companies where they're, doing, obviously you did your Gartner thing, right? And I've had friends who were research VPs at other analyst firms, and they thought, everybody knows me. I write all these reports. Everybody follows what I do. I'm going to go on my own and do my own research analyst firm. And it'll be awesome because everybody already loves me. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm drowning. Oh my God, it's.
Yeah, it's always a roller coaster anyway. Whatever you do,
exactly, it is.
So today you are going down, and the next day you're going up. So you never know.
But you know what? So Marc, I know you've been an entrepreneur, and you've been doing both things, right? You've been working with startups, smaller IoT, scrappy IoT companies. What do you think? Because you've jumped into the crucible a number of times, right?
Exactly. And it's funny because now that I work at Balena, actually Balena and the Things I Own, my own startup, were funded at the same time. And now I see what it's growth and what now I'm learning what is growth and what is not growth for an IoT company. But I think it's it's a moment to discover yourself if you want to do something. Yeah. And as well, for me, one of the most exciting moments and as well as scary moment, it's when you try to build a team. And you have to find people who trust, of your idea, your values, and the value that you want to build, and you want to build it with someone else. Yeah. And you need to discover these people, and they need to team up with you to build up this idea, and that is what a magic moment to find these people and. Yeah.
It's funny, like now, I'm once again the minority. I'm the one guy who's got a job, like a regular job. But I think we go through the same things. It's just that the risk profile is different. I've had pressure to build a team and pick the right people to deliver, what we have to deliver to the business. And that's scary from a talent perspective, but in a way, because I have the corporate job. There's pressures that an entrepreneur just doesn't have. Like my paycheck is going to show up whether I hire this person tomorrow or next week. Yeah, right. So the pressures are more different, but on the opposite side, the rewards are very, very different. As a business owner, you have a great year. As a guy working in a brand is like, whoa, we crushed it. And just here, we became $1 billion business unit. What's my bonus? Hey, great job, pal. You guys killed it. Here's a gift certificate for KFC. The business killed it. Just do it, and great job, and make sure you deliver next year again because your quota went up 20%. And you go like, wait a minute.
Hey, but aren't you supposed to get pizzas nowadays? Because it's all about, teens being no bigger than how many can be fed off a single pie. I mean, isn't it? Don't you get like that
Have
quarterly?
you seen the buckets at KFC, Leonard? It's a big.
True,
bucket,
you can
man.
feed 16 people. That's right.
There you go. Take your family out to dinner. We love you.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So the risks are different, but
Yeah.
so is the reward.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's funny. It's also the speed of things. How much patience do you have to do something? Like, see, as an entrepreneur or even a in-brand employee, sometimes you just have this idea that is going to deliver value to you as a founder or to your end customer. And then there's very different timelines if you are solo versus, oh man, I got to pitch my idea. I got to get funding for this idea. I got to convince people. By the time I get budget, that idea, now it's like somebody else's idea. They forgot it was me.
Yeah.
And actually it died in delivery because some guy in finance behind a desk didn't get it.
Yeah.
And shut me down. See, so again, it's pick your poison. Where's the Matrix scene with that? Where's Morpheus?
Yeah, right. Red pill, blue pill.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Matrix references these days. I don't know. It's like almost like a resurrection. No pun intended.
Oh,
Pun intended. Pun intended.
Well, we can't help but. This whole metaverse thing is definitely giving us a lot of Matrix vibes, a lot of Snow Crash vibes, a lot of Ready Player One vibes.
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft is bidding to. Well, they've purchased it. It's yet to see whether or not the deal will close. Activision, right? What bugs the hell out of me is how everyone's calling it a metaverse play. It's like, look, guys, knock it off. Do you know what I'm saying? They are a game studio, right? They own a portfolio of games, and Microsoft's already been in the game business. I mean, they have Halo. They have their own network of studios, and then you read some of these articles. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't metaverse that you're talking about. So what are you talking about? We're getting into that same problem that we've suffered in IoT for a long time. It's like, what are you talking about? And are you exaggerating things to the point where you're going to just create more speculative, bizarre behavior, which actually, the more I think about it, we're getting into a crisis of speculation where we bet on way much on things that have no substance, no fundamentals. I keep thinking about this because I hear these these people go, well, you know what? You're just old school. You're back in the gold rush days, imagine if you didn't get in early, you wouldn't become a millionaire. It's like, wait a minute. Even in the .com era, there were a very small number of people who made the headlines. What are you talking about? Exactly. You are high on crack. And think about all the wasted capital. So markets are supposed to be efficient. That means that capital gets placed in areas where there's going to be productivity and value created. Speculation, and we should remind our audience who think about IoT in this way, should not be speculative. There's something to be said about organic growth, building your business on value. And so when I think about this acquisition versus, like, for instance, what Apple does, Apple rarely makes acquisitions like this. They grow things organically. If you really think about it, their M&A activity looks very, very different. They invest in some technologies, but they never make a play like this, where they try to grow the business. Other than maybe Beats, I don't know. Beats was a little weird, but they kind of got rid of the Beats music platform. But I don't know. I'm kind of ranting.
Len,
but it bothers me, man. This whole metaverse crap.
Here's the thing. You cannot. This is how things are going to be with the buzzwords, and let's just stop getting mad about it. And I say, let's take advantage. And in our respective, lines of, work and entrepreneurial stuff, let's just, call the BS and challenge customers to have a value conversation and stay and in that way differentiate ourselves. Because when I read the press release of the Activision acquisition, and literally in the opening headline, it's like Metaverse, and I'm like, FFS.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But you know what? It's like they almost have to, because how many people just don't even know what it is, and they just walk away with Microsoft, big boom, they're in the Metaverse, and that's it. Again, they took the red pill, and they're off with it.
Yeah.
Let's not even get mad about it. It's truly a sign of our times. This, anyway.
So where is the Metaverse on Gartner's hype cycle?
I have no idea, man.
Probably on the hype. That's not. What is, by the way, what is about Second Life? No, I think like 10, 15 years ago, Second Life was
almost 20 years ago, I think.
Famous,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What is it? Is this a thing still, or because this is Metaverse, right?
Yeah.
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 Or this was,
right.
or whatever it was called at the time.
60.
Right.
It was like what? They have like 600,000 active users. It's pretty big, but it's not growing. So if there was already an opportunity for someone to build a metaverse, there already is one. And this whole idea of building economies off of some decentralized platform that uses crypto, like Bitcoin as the currency. I mean, that's just building, just silliness on top of silliness. Eventually, all of that just collapses, and whatever's truly there is going to persist. But it's probably going to be, quite honestly, a bunch of porn stuff, right? No, seriously, if any of this metaverse stuff really takes off, it's going to be because of the adult industry. Most. People are in denial if you think that e-commerce started with books. You are high on crack. If you think that search and the internet, the first industries that were supported and really drove the adoption of these technologies was like friggin', some news service or bulletin, you're high on crack.
Or the video, right? The VHS. Codex and everything. Titanic movie. No.
No.
Obviously not.
I think
not Titanic movies, but Titanic. Yeah.
I'm going to catch this wave. I'm going to put in for my 2 weeks, and I'm going to design full body suits with haptic feedback and that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Full on experience, people.
Yes.
Put on your goggles, put on the suit, and join your favorite metaverse room. Have at it.
David,
There
why
you
do you
go.
need that? Why do you need that? What problem do you have? Why do you need
because remember, the metaverse at the end of the day it's virtual. Like when you take that thing off, you're gonna go like, shit, I'm still at home.
Yeah.
Wife and kids are there bothering me. So with the suit, you will feel like a bit more real as you move and thrust and exist.
Honey, what are you doing in there? I'm playing Call of Duty.
Maybe rewind this podcast till the beginning, when we were talking with Rob, like, hey, think about yourself, what your present, your past, your future. Maybe if you are thinking about that on Metaverse, maybe it's time to self-reflection and think what you are doing in your life, right?
All that stuff comes last. But that is the what I'm saying is actually the sobering truth. But of course, you're not going to have like the big consulting firms go around and say, "Hey, look, here's the pioneer market for AR VR." It's like, but already there's like harassment, abuse, all kinds of creepy stuff happening on these metaverses, and if they're unregulated, I mean, imagine what really creepy stuff can happen.
This is why Microsoft bought Activision. They want to have built-in harassment.
Oh, brutal.
Well, I mean, look, those folks had their issues, and it was very public, and a lot of people left, and it is not right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I can only hope that, the Microsoft machinery, now that they bought the problem, that if there's anything left, it gets absolutely squashed. It's ugly sometimes to be a gamer. And just because you're one gender or another, you should not be subjected to, the things that are happening within Activision. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Wow. I was really surprised because the culture at Activision does not align with the culture that Satya has been trying to create at Microsoft at all. It's like the opposite, completely the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
But think about it. That's the formula for disaster. If you can't deal with it properly, then that's what happened with AT&T and Time Warner. A lot of it was just leadership and just this accounting of very different cultures. Time Warner, the whole media industry is so different. And geez, look at what they did to HBO. I don't know. It's just it's brutal.
As long as they have a Game of Thrones, though, they'll be all right.
Yeah, that is true. But they have to more than that.
And what role is IoT going to play on the metaverse?
Sensors on your haptic suit. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're all going to be digital twin avatars.
Yeah, that's that whole gaming interface, right? Instrumenting your body for that feedback, that haptic feedback, the control feedback, all that stuff. That's like Uber. That's Uber digital twin, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not.
But what about
it's that different because
how do you instrumentalize, if that's even a word, here's what I'm trying to say. So in the metaverse, if we are we're in the virtual world already, right? So there's an experience that's being delivered in the room or space that we're on. So is the role of IoT will be to instrumentalize things that are external to that space to affect mood, sort of thing. Like we were talking about Twitter sentiment, a bunch of years. So something like that, because something has to capture that data, and that's the IoT.
Yeah. Okay, so let me walk back that statement that is digital twin. I think it's just gaming interfaces, which is different because you're translating what you're physically doing to a digital, like sort of a virtual avatar. It's not necessarily a representation of you. But the digital twin is like what we do in IoT, right? So I just want to be clear because, you hear some companies talk about it and it just doesn't sound right. And then what they're building is like, look, dude, that's what we're already doing in gaming. It's not that there isn't an intersect or overlap, but that's not digital twin the way we talk about it in IoT, right? So,
Leonard, do you think that we'll see, back. We've talked quite a bit, over several months, it feels like years, about the opportunities in certain industries to train the new people coming in because the old people are retiring, etc. And and in a way, like we've discussed how AR, VR techniques, have been utilized to do some of this. Is Metaverse going to help it or make it worse? Because remember it's from when we're talking about retention, right? Or actually to attract talent. Training conversation, right? Like that was the angle I think we were discussing
last week. Yeah.
So could this be like a good thing of a metaverse if you have an industry where attrition is really high and folks are not coming in, and the hook is we are cutting edge. I'm going to put you in the metaverse here before I put you in front of a real conveyor belt or CNC machine, and don't jump.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something. We know that young people are not interested in working in factories, and they're not interested in working on farms anymore. And so how do we make those jobs attractive to them? And so if we gamify it, make them in the metaverse, we may have to re-engineer our physical equipment, like in a factory. When we first started talking about, how there's, we the descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and then, where you take action on the insight. And we talked about people retiring and they're going to have VR glasses, and it's going to be like the game, like Zork or Adventure. Walk 5 steps, pick up a screwdriver, put screwdriver into this machine and turn it, because I have not been trained on how to fix this machine, but it's going to tell me. I think what you're talking about, David, is even the next level beyond that, where you are fully immersed. And so the interface with the CNC machine or an assembly line is just completely virtual, every last bit of it. And you fix it in the metaverse somehow, and it just magically happens in the real world.
But that's that other side of the digital twin, right? That's that actuation, part that, we talk about. Rob, you bring that up quite a bit, especially nowadays. It's that control feedback into the real world from the digital twin model, right? So it's not just going up and sending data up, but there's this feedback loop that comes through the digital twin that takes control instructions coming from the virtual side into the physical realm.
It makes me wonder though, like what the ultimate experience will be, because again, very different to have a virtual scenario where, I know that I'm safe in a room, and it's like, take 5 steps and take this screwdriver to this centrifugal pump thing in a farm, versus, I got to do this for real. I actually have to, this is a very heavy handle, and the thing is rumbling. Like, is that good? Is that bad? I wonder what that jump would be, because, if we have to reimagine this thing, before all this technology was available, it's kind of like, no, let's go to the pump. Let me show you how to do it. You watch me. Monkey sees, monkey does. Like we learn, and it was done. I don't know that we've ever thought that we were going to have a problem, that there's some people that don't want to do certain jobs. So now we got to get all gimmicky, or maybe it's not gimmicky. Maybe it's the new way of attracting talent. But then, if they're hooked on this virtual world, they might not be crazy about, the reality of again, a centrifugal pump and out in a corner of a farm somewhere, or a, milling machine, in a factory. It's,
But you know what? Everything you just described, I wouldn't call it metaverse.
No.
A lot of that actually has nothing to do with metaverse. Nope. Which is one of the problems with the term metaverse. We already have stuff that could be used to do it, and we're not looking at how to solve the problems on the content side. I mean, the technology, a lot of this technology is already there. The problem is it costs a crap ton of money, and it's very difficult to compose the content. It's much easier just to make a PowerPoint.
So I hear the most metaverse thing that's in use today is Roblox.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it out yet. Is it like Minecraft or something, maybe? I don't know. Kids are playing it.
Yeah, no, it's more like Fortnite-ish, but it's actually different from Fortnite as well. It's just a whole collection. It's like a gaming platform where you have a number of different titles. People can make their own games, and it's just like it's complete hacker world, and they have some cool games. Like I told you, I'm like a champion in one of the games, the paintball. My handle is Kimchi Bandit, and I strike fear in the hearts of 8-year-old kids. Wow. Oh my God, it's Kimchi Bandit. We have to gang up on him.
That's hilarious, dude.
Anyway, hey guys, I gotta jump. I know this is a short one, but for our IoT Coffee Talk followers, thanks for jumping on and watching us up to this point, and we will see you next week. Take care, gentlemen. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. And oh yeah, push that like button and subscribe. Take care, guys.